this is Couponing Cooking with the Gabbs. Today we have Pillsbury sugar-free brownie mix made with Splenda. This is a particular favorite of mine. This is a very good option for those of you who are looking for lower carb foods and snacky stuff. So hopefully this helps you out if you're looking for that. And if you enjoy this, please drop a like. Alright, so the first step we have here is to use cooking spray. You can use any you like. I'm using this. And we just spray her down.
Make sure you spray your sides.
Now, the other first thing that you want to do before you start making your brownies are preheating the oven. Now that you have your pan sprayed and your oven preheated, you can now go on ahead and start making your brownies. So we're going to open this up. As you can see, it's a whole bunch of brownies. Always make sure everything's out of there. I'm just putting them there right now for room. Now what we do is we add 1 egg to our brownie mix. Now what we're gonna do with our butter is we're just gonna drop it on in. That is 6 tablespoons of butter, by the way. I forgot to mention that for a moment.
Yes, the recipe does call for 1/3 of a cup of butter, so that does equal to 6 tablespoons.
The next thing we're going to do is add 3 tablespoons of milk. Now the recipe originally calls for water. We typically use milk, so that's what we're going to be doing today.
And the reason why we substitute the oil for butter and the milk for water is because it makes for a more rich either cake or brownie mix. If you're using any kind of box mix, always substitute those things out for a more richer flavor. And then we're also using whole milk because that's the more rich milk.
Alright, and our next step is add a little bit of pure vanilla extract.
Yeah. So we just added 1 teaspoonful of vanilla extract.
Okay, now that we have our brownie mix, our egg, and our butter and our vanilla extract in here, we can now hand mix this. Alright, and now that we're done with the hand mixer, we're going to go on ahead and scrape down our sides real quick.
Take your spatula and go through those beaters to get the rest of your mix out of there so it don't go to waste.
Alright, the next thing we do is put in our brownie mix. Ooh!
You can use your finger.
I want to not wash my hands. And guys, make sure you get all of this out of your bowl. Even the sides. Get it all out there. Okay, now that we're done with the brownie mix and we put it in our pan, we can now go on ahead and move on to the peanut butter.
Okay, that's fine. Now we're just using just a Kroger brand creamy peanut butter, not crunchy. And all you need is 2 tablespoons because we only have 1 box of the brownie mix. Now I did notice, because this is the first time that we're using this particular one that it made up a little bit small. So if you wanted to double this recipe, you could if you had a bigger pan. I think for the 9-inch pan that we're using, you could probably still double the recipe for that. But if you had a pan that's bigger than that, like a 13 by 9, you would probably need about 4 of those mixes. So you would do the same thing we're showing you guys 4 times. Once again, that would be for a 13 by 9 brownie pan.
And now what we're gonna do is we're going to whip our peanut butter.
So we did that just a little bit. Okay, the reason why we're doing the peanut butter like this and whipping it with the stand mixer is just to add a little bit of air to it, just to move it around a little bit better from just sitting in the jar, because we're about to dollop this into the brownie mix a little bit at a time, and we're going to swirl it in. So if it's too stiff, it's not going to work for you. But if you do go ahead and beat it just a little bit, it'll be much easier to drop into your brownies.
Okay, and now that we've whipped our peanut butter and we've made our brownie mix, it's time to, I guess, incorporate the two, mix them together.
I'm going to dollop it in. Use your finger, yeah. And when you lay it down, just lay it in random parts that are not too close together.
And now that we have our peanut butter and our brownie mix in one pan, we can now, I guess, swirl these around, mix them up a little bit, create some color.
Make sure you don't blend it too much, but you want to just have it,
Alright, and now that we're done incorporating and swirling our peanut butter and our brownie mix, we can just go on ahead and put this in the oven. For an 8x8 pan, it is 28 to 32 minutes on the box. But for a 9x9, it's 26 to 30 minutes. So do note that the pan size will matter. Okay, and while the brownies are baking, we have a chance to make our powdered sugar. So we ended up getting something different other than regular sugar to make the icing for the brownies. We have a Truvia sweetener. I love Truvia. Always have, always will. In coffee, lemonade, it just works. So to make the icing, you're going to do this 1 cup at a time. And you're just going to pour that on in. Okay, as you can see here, we have 1 cup of Truvia sweetener, and we're just gonna pour that on in.
So what we're doing is just making the powdered sugar for the low-carb icing. It is keto-friendly specifically. It does call for 3 cups of whatever sweetener you want to use. You can use Truvia, allulose. There's another one that starts with the letter G. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But there's a lot of low-carb options that you can use, or keto-friendly specific options you can use. And all we're doing is just putting it into the food processor. And what that's going to do is lighten the granules to make them into powder. So it will be a low-carb powdered sugar.
Alright, and as you can see, we powdered our Truvia, and now we're going to add in some butter. This is 1 whole stick of butter, I believe? Yep, this is 1 whole stick.
So also make sure that your butter is room temperature, and the recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of butter. And we will put the link in the description box for the recipe we're using. So the frosting that we're making, you can use it for anything, and then you just add in what other ingredients you want, like if you want chocolate frosting, cream cheese, or vanilla. And all of that is listed on the website. Once again, that will be linked in the description box below the video.
Alright, and the next thing we're going to add is our vanilla extract. This is 1 teaspoon. You only need 1 with vanilla. It's very strong sometimes. Now that we have our powdered sugar, our vanilla extract, and our butter in here, we can go on ahead and put our hand mixer in and get to going. Alright, and our next ingredient for the icing is Bakersfield's cocoa powder. This one specifically is 100% natural bakery type cocoa powder. So we finna see how this goes. We can add in half a cup of the cocoa powder. And then we just mix it with... Alright, now that we have our cocoa powder and our sweetened mixture in one bowl, we can go on ahead and start trying to make the icing. We can add in a tablespoon of milk at a time, the recipe said. 1 at a time. So I'm guessing it's a little bit of personal touch with this as well.
And if you need more than 2, just add them a tablespoon at a time to the consistency, the spreading consistency that you're looking for. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for our peanut butter brownies, which are low carb, diabetic, keto friendly. Okay, so this is the brownies with the peanut butter swirl. And then here is the icing that Damien made. So I'm going to just go ahead and ice this for him. And he did, we ended up using another half a cup of the cocoa powder because it did seem like it just needed it to be more of a chocolate frosting. So that was the only other addition. And then also, guys, just a tip for the Truvia, I ended up having to use a coffee grinder to get it to powder. I don't know if it was something with the blades in my food processor, if they weren't strong enough or something to that effect. But if your food processor won't do the job, then just use a coffee grinder. And it only takes a few seconds and it turns directly to powder. Now I'm not going to do a thick layer of this icing. I'm going to just do a nice, I guess, medium layer, just to make sure that all of the brownie is covered. Okay, now I've iced the brownies and I made the little swirl, and this is your finished product and your finished look. So I hope this was able to help you guys. If you do count carbs, if you're diabetic, if you are keto, or just you don't have to be either or, you just count carbs, and you're looking for a recipe for the holidays for something sweet that does not contain a lot of sugar. Now everything does have like maybe 2 grams or 7 grams or something to that effect, like the Truvia. That one is 2 grams, but I know for diabetics, anything under 5, you don't count towards your carb count. So that wouldn't count for anything for you guys. So hopefully this is able to help you guys on your low carb journey for something sweet as a replacement and something you can do for the holidays. Okay, guys, it's going to go ahead and wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching and happy couponing and cooking with love. Bye.